All right, all you podcast listeners, I managed to poke and prod Ryan Sage a little bit and save you some money on merch. So use code podcast23 at checkout. Save yourself 20% on your favorite FD merch, with the hats, shirts, lanyards, whatever it is that you want. Use code podcast23 at checkout. Save that money, get yourself some cool FD stuff, and we'll see you out there. Hey, everyone, and welcome back to the Outerzone, the official podcast of Formula Drift. My name is Jacob Gettins, and thank you for all the people that have started following me on Instagram. I appreciate that. That's been great, but that's not. Anyways, what this episode is about is getting you guys as much information as I can pack into your heads about Pro Spec. Pro obviously gets a lot of spotlight, but really, if you really, really want to get into this, Pro Spec is what you need to watch. There's so much going on. The competition is absolutely nuts. Anything can happen. We have a ton of rookies this year. We have people moving around like crazy. We've got veterans. We've got people from all over the world. Like I feel like Pro has gotten so much attention, and rightfully so, but Pro Spec this year has got some big swingers. They've got some people coming up that are rookies that I think are really going to disrupt a lot of stuff. There's a lot of things going on with Pro Spec this year that we just haven't had time to talk about. So I want to dedicate this entire episode to Pro Spec. If you're into Pro, I highly recommend you stick around and listen. Got a fun little challenge at the end too that I want to talk about. But if you're into drifting at all, definitely listen to Pro Spec. Definitely watch it, but listen to this episode because this is going to set you up and make you hopefully more knowledgeable about the sport in general and really how things are going to look over the next couple of years. Because what's happening in Pro Spec now is what Pro is going to look like soon. And that's what's super exciting. So let's get into it. If you didn't know, obviously this episode's coming out right before Atlanta, and that is the first round. So Atlanta, Englishtown, St. Louis, and Utah are where it's going to go down this year. Great tracks for this. Really excited. I like seeing the Pro Spec guys at Utah especially. The paddock space can definitely accommodate it, but the track itself is really fit for it. There's a lot going on. St. Louis is good too. It's great for a smaller tire. And Englishtown is good because it's not a ton of wear and tear on the car. So I do like this spread. I really wouldn't change it given the powers. I don't think I would change any of this. I do like this layout. And realistically, it kind of makes the travel work fairly well. Minus kind of Utah, but even then it throws a little bit of a bone to some of the West Coast guys. So if you didn't know, last year, our big winner was Robert Thorne, who is now up in Pro. Second was Derek Madison, and third was Andy Haitley, which is awesome because Andy's been around forever. Derek's been around for a bit too. I feel like you think Andy's been around longer because of the beard and stuff, but I believe Derek's been around almost as long. And then the previous, I believe, 2-year champion came in fourth. That was Dmitry Brutsky, who is staying in Pro Spec this year. Very much want to get him on the show, pick his brain, because I want to understand that decision. I'm sure there's some financial stuff and sponsorship stuff, and he's a big family man, so I'm sure that plays into it too. Anyways, I don't want to put words into his mouth, but that was how things shook down last year. I'm not going to go through the entire list, but that's basically how it looked. We have a ton of Pro Spec drivers this year. I think it's over 40. 13 of those are rookies, and they're coming from they're representing 10 different countries, which that alone boggles my mind. Love it. Absolutely love it. The hard part for me is that there's going to be some pronunciations that I'm probably not going to get right. So if nothing else, stick around to hear me struggle. So I'm going to do these in the basically in the order that they're found on the Formula Drift website. If you want more information about these drivers, highly recommend go to the drivers page. Go look at Pro Spec and go through this listing. So basing it off of that, we did some scrubbing on their Instagram, some TikTok, some YouTube stuff, compiled some information. So I'm going to try not to make this overly long, but I also want to give drivers, give you guys some tidbits, some things that we found. So yeah, that's kind of how this show is going to run. So yeah, let's just get into it. So first up is Adam Napick, Donut Media S14. Really loved what they did last year. I love seeing Donut Media on board with them. They produced a really cool video series. The one in Orlando is the one that sticks in my head. Just Adam. I feel like Adam's a guy that really is kind of due for a break. It looks like he's got some great sponsors behind him, obviously with like Donut Media, Optima, ACG Clutch, Vortec, PWR. and I won't go through all the sponsors, but just some notable stuff. Apple Valley Speedway. Cool when I see racetrack supporting drivers too. Love that. Hopefully they're throwing some free track time. But yeah, Adam Napick, great looking car, that big donut thing that's on there. I think last year they had something that was like, we sell t-shirts too or something. Well, excited to see what Donut's able to do with his program and what they can kind of, what they can do with the ability to kind of have all access. Okay, moving on. Next is Alex Yeager. So Alex racing for Forsberg's team. Essentially, it's like a NOS energy drink car. It isn't a Z. He's working with Tire Stacks and Steel It, Valvoline, BC, Optima, K&N, Z1 Motorsports, and Motegi. Really cool to see Forsberg doing that. I personally would like to see every kind of pro potentially like mentor somebody in Pro Spec or see a little bit more of this. Obviously, we see there's a couple other drivers that are coming up, but it's something I'd like to see more of. I really think that we're going to see Alex Yeager really progress because of that. We have somebody like Chris Forsberg as your mentor, as the guy helping you out and with parts and everything else. That's a really big fast track to becoming an incredible driver. So that's what I could see. I could see Alex really doing well this year and then potentially making the jump to pro, which would be cool. I think it'd be a little confusing seeing like two cars with very similar liveries. We've seen it previously, but yeah, I think once again, just having Chris Forsberg as the guy kind of running your team, there's very few things that can compete with that. On the note of Alex, let's go to Alex Schlegel. 240 SX convertible. Always love seeing verts. He always had like a kind of a cool little sunshade on there. Looks like his sponsors this year are going to be the PDK Foundation and TireStacks.com. Alex is a guy that I've met quite a few times. Actually, he's a realtor, someone like a Dave Briggs. So kind of cool to see. There's actually it's interesting finding the background of these drivers and kind of what they do. So I think, understanding what they do for a living and then comparing that to the drifting is crazy. If you didn't know, he actually has a sewing needle in his lung. I'm absolutely serious here. If you get a chance, go to his Instagram. And by the way, we're going to link all the drivers' Instagrams in the description of the podcast and the YouTube series, just so you can go take a look. But scroll back, take a look at the story because the whole sewing needle in his lung thing is nuts. I don't know where that got left off. Maybe I won't even spoil it if I did know because I want you to go and do some digging. But always happy to see convertibles in this series. We used to see a lot of them. Chris Forsberg had one. Obviously, Mad Mike had one. I know I'm missing a bunch of people, but I like seeing them. I don't know why. I like kind of like seeing what the driver's doing a little bit more. And I think now, especially with the drone stuff that we've got, it makes it even more exciting. After that comes Amanda Sorensen. So no real introduction needed here. Amanda is just a force to be reckoned with. Anything with the Sorensen name on it, if you are going into battle against anything with the Sorensen logo on it, it's going to be a tough time. Obviously continuing on with U.S. Air Force, Comp Cams, Enkai Wheels, Rockford Fosgate, which is cool. Hopefully maybe there's like a big sound system in there. VP Racing Fuels. Check her socials. This is somebody who just has their socials on lockdown. Like it's great. If you want what I would consider to be just a masterclass in how to run your social media, look no further than Amanda Sorensen. While you're there, make sure to check out the videos of her in the F-16. Super cool. I think she pulls like 9.1 Gs. I don't think she's flying, but just neat to see how the Sorensens are integrating their sponsors with this viral content. Obviously, it's cool doing stuff with the U.S. Air Force, but like I think stuff like that is what people need to look at is how she was able to seamlessly integrate her social media with her sponsors. So incredible driver. I don't want to take anything away from her there, but just somebody who has the marketing game on point. And I've had the pleasure of chatting with her about marketing stuff, and she's got it. So really would like to see her get her pro license and step into that. I think that would be amazing. It's just a matter of time at this point, really. After that, an OG in Pro Spec, Andy Hately. Hately? Dude, walk me through this, how we need to do this. So Andy used to run an E30, which was like the craziest build. Like things were so packed in there. Now that he's in the E36, things look so much better. So sponsors like Comp Cams and Clutchmaster, Stop Tech, Magnuson Supercharger. There's a huge list in here. Make sure to go check all of them. But I mean, like, he's picking great parts all the way through this. 2F body kit, anti-gravity batteries, field suspension. Like, dude knows how to pick stuff. Condor Speed Shop, which shouts out to them. I just installed one of their seat brackets and it was amazing. Really, really cool to see his progression once he got into the E46. Dude throws down in the sim constantly. I think last year was actually his best year. And what I'm curious about really is that is he going to shave his beard once he gets into pro? And if not, does he have one of those little beard things that like the fire mask, but for your beard? But yeah, make sure to watch it for Andy, like legitimate OG veteran, has every right to be in pro. Hopefully he can get a program together to do that because I really would love to see him. I'd love to see him running pro. I'd like to see him on some of the big tires. Next up is Austin Mata, back in a S14. Looks like, he's running according to his page at least, Austin Mata Motorsports, M-Spec, Haltech. Pretty lean right there, but this is a dude who's been racing since he was like 5 years old. And he's been drifting since I don't even know how long he's been around. I feel like he's got to be around a lot longer than that, like 15 years or something like that. He's been around for a long time. The name Austin Mata, I feel like is synonymous with drifting. The dude's got a ton of style. If you follow Pro Spec, or you followed, I think he was in Pro 2 as well. If you know what his style is like, you know that he can disrupt anybody who's on a tear in a weekend. I once again, another guy I want to see do really well. He's put in a lot of good time, and I don't think he's far off from really putting down a performance that's going to get him into the show. So we talked about earlier drivers that are partnering up with pros, and the next one on our list is Ben Hobson. One, funny dude, super, super funny dude. But jumping in with Odie's program, seeing like Pedal Commander, obviously Feel, stuff like that on his car, that's absolutely huge. But just having that mentorship is massive. I believe he beat Odie at LS Fest too. Like, the dude can absolutely shred. I really think with Odie's tutelage, with even having Simon on the team as somebody he can kind of chat with and learn from, it's going to be massive. He did really good things last year. He really showed up, and obviously that led, I would assume that led to this deal with Odie. So keep an eye on Ben Hobson. I think now that he's in this vehicle, doesn't have to worry as much about setup and anything else, and he can kind of let Odie's team take care of that side of things, and all he can focus on is driving. You really, really need to watch out for him because he's going to disrupt a lot of things. Next up, Blake Olson, or Balake Olson, Zone 1 Motorsports, GT Radial E92. I do like the E92s. I really do. I know they're kind of back and forth. It looks like he's got a CoroWorks logo on there as well. Motul, Fortunato, WiseFab, Radium, Willwood. We're talking about these are all super quality brands. One in Utah, great looking livery with that black and purple. Came in 7th last year, which once again I think that is up there for one of his best years. Just another guy that there's so many people in Pro Spec right now that at any point in time can just take over. And especially with only 4 rounds, somebody like a Blake Olson can come in, just be in the right headspace, have a good qualifying, and then just go. And that's literally what we saw in Utah. So if you are new to Pro Spec, I would definitely keep a good set of eyes on Blake Olson. Next up, another guy that I feel like has been around for a bit. I don't even know how long he's been in now, but Brian Wadman, another 240 driver. He came in 16th last year. Big snowboarding guy. It looks like, from what I can tell, he's going to stick with Liqui Moly as his title sponsor, which is cool. Good brand to get, on the door. Very reputable. Just another driver that can really throw down. Has been in the game for a bit. I wouldn't call. I guess. Yeah, he's kind of in that OG class. I feel like within Pro Spec, within a lot of these, you kind of have these 3 classes. Almost the guys that were in Pro 2 when it was Pro 2. You've got the guys who are relatively newer, who are maybe just the Pro Spec class, and then you've got obviously the rookies and stuff coming in, which we have a ton of rookies. I'm going to try and call them out as I go as well. But Brian Wadman, been around, great driver, great tandem ability. You can be very, very aggressive and on people's doors. Sometimes, I guess, to a bit of a fault, but it happens. That's if you want to move up through the ranks, that's what you need to do. Speaking of rookies, Chris Leonard, I don't know. Rookie driver, Ford Mustang, which is cool. Cool to see a Mustang down in Pro Spec. Manic clutch, on-field suspension, Tycon Industries, late model restoration, turn 5, Hawk, like good program together as well. It looks like he comes from a racing heritage as well. He's been doing drag racing and autocross. It looks like he started like 16, ex-Navy, and now it seems like he's a tech at SpaceX, which is crazy. I don't know. Maybe he just answers phones there, but I'd be very curious to understand what he does. Chris, if you're listening, please come find me. Explain to me what you do at SpaceX. I'm sure you've got an Elon story or two. I'm all ears. Okay, moving on from there, another rookie, Cody Buchanan. I think I got that one. Sandback Race Development, Nissan 350Z or Z. SRD Auto Repair, Feel, ACT, SR Performance, AEM, Holly, like same thing, like really good program put together. Looks like he spent about 2 years competing, one in Vegas. Looks to be the first pro drifter or pro spec drifter, at least from North Dakota. Didn't fact check that one. Don't hear a lot about the North Dakota drift scene. Really don't. So, curious. If you are from North Dakota, drop a comment. I'd love to know what you guys are doing in that area. North Dakota is just one of those states I don't hear coming up very often. Did see some carbon Kevlar coming in on his car, which is cool. I think we're seeing the cost of that kind of come down a little. More guys are realizing, hey, it's actually cheaper in the long run to run it. So always happy to see some carbon Kevlar coming out. Next up, another rookie, Cole Richards. There's an easy name for me. Richards Racing, CoreWorks, Scion FRS. So CoreWorks, Economy Body Shop, and then Vision Performance. Dude's done go-karting, moto, drag racing, road racing. I really like the way this BRZ looks, all black. I don't know if he's changing that up. I didn't see if there was like an official livery launch yet, but the initial visuals of it look really, really cool. So anybody who comes from that much motorsports is somebody with obviously like a good reaction time, doesn't have any fear, understands how programs work, which is like a huge part of it. Potentially has some like good infrastructure, things like trailers and potentially toter homes. I don't know if he's got that, but like usually you find that somebody who's multidisciplined, they've got a good infrastructure built, which is so big. It takes so much off your shoulders. And if you see, once again, anytime I see somebody with that much going on, I'm immediately like, okay, I need to keep an eye on that person. Speaking of keeping an eye on, this is a driver who, if you follow a lot of like auxiliary drifting, I guess we could call it, you probably know who they are. Another rookie though, and that's Connor O'Sullivan. So this dude kind of came out of nowhere. Sponsors are RTS, Race Tech Services, ACT, obviously GT, Cosmos, AZ Rags, Holly, South Florida Helicopter. That's kind of cool. Hopefully we can get a helicopter out on track or something. G-Force. But yeah, he crushed in clutch kickers. He is partnered with Jonathan Hurst as well. So we're taking this relatively young kid, looks like he's got a bit of a moto background, can drive like crazy, 2 cars, looks like he's getting a ton of seat time, threw down at clutch kickers. I think he beat Adam LZ at one point as well. Don't quote me on that, but I believe so. But just like I started watching some footage and I really think as long as the car keeps together and everything else, Connor O'Sullivan is going to be in my top 5 for this year for sure. So just keep an eye out. That is one driver I would keep an eye on. Another driver to really like once again keep an eye on, Corey Talaska. Corey, same thing. Been around for a while. I think like he's been drifting for like 17 years or something crazy. E36 2J, it's a Rad Dan 2J as well. So it's going to be quality. Corey's a great guy. Like I said, just been around for a bit. CoreWorks, Yellow Speed, Chase Bays, Big Duck Club. Love those body kits. Advanced Clutch, Link, Nitrous Outlet. Always happy to see Nitrous on there. Stage Wheels, Fuel Lab, Whiskey Dicks. That one, I'm curious what that is. I was able to, it's XDIX, so I think it's fine if I say it. But Corey, veteran of the sport, just another guy that's just kind of working through and trying to, just get up and get that pro license. And hopefully he does, and we can kind of see him move up from there. Okay, so next up is Daniel Malvasio. Is actually a driver coming out of Lake Erie Speedway. Got his license out of there. BMW driver, looks like a big single turbo LS. Sponsors this year Condor Speed Shop, Deutschwerks, Rugged Radios, Marciano's Pizza. Dude, you got to do something with that. But I will say, a lot of great drivers coming out of that Lake Erie Speedway setup. Cool to see somebody jump in and go from there. I did have the pleasure of seeing him drive live. Definitely aggressive, very, very consistent, winning against a lot of great competitors. So that's not an easy win to come out of there. But yeah, excited to see anybody who's coming. Honestly, like, we see so many drivers that do well coming out of the Midwest. I really think it has something to do with the snow. There's always that, like, okay, if you're from Florida or California, it means you can drive all year. But really, if you have snow, you can drive all year as well. So, you're just doing it in the snow. But yeah, excited to see what Dan can do. Looks like he's got a good program going on. Maybe we can get some pizza out in the pits. Next up is a driver who's really, like, expanding. And what I mean by that is he's digging in, he's finding other ways to promote, doing some cool stuff. And that's Derek Madison, or D-Mad. Love that guy. I've had the pleasure of chatting with him multiple times and hanging out with him. So Fuel Labs, igmotorsports.com, S14. Great car, great build. Just solid driver. Second last year. He's running some Danger Ranger stuff over at Cletus's thing. Great ambassador for Fuel Labs. I love what he's doing there with his program. He's one solid, like, obviously, coming in second, he could take pro. I might bug him about that and be like, hey, why not? I'm assuming it is a time commitment or a funding thing. But either way, Derek, I'm coming. I'm going to ask these questions. Maybe we'll get him on the show. We'll interrogate him a little bit more. But great driver, great guy. Make sure to stop by his pits because it's a great chat. Speaking of great chats, actually, Dmitry Brutsky. So 2-time champ from Belarus. I really want to see him move up. I really do. I know it's tough. I know it's expensive. I know it's hard being away from the family, but I just need to know what he can do against pros. That's it. He's got Drift HQ backing him, ISC suspension, but he's just a solid, consistent driver. And that's it. I just want to see what he can do against pros. Obviously, like, we can see stuff like party drifting and all those things, but that's not the same. So, dude, just let me know. Let's have a chat. So the same thing. Let's get him on and let's talk about that. Next up, I consider this driver like kind of the Forrest Wang of Pro Spec, and that is Dustin Miles, Miles of Styles. Love the way he drives. Love what he can do in that S13. Fast mods, Smart by Finish Masters. I'm not quite sure what that is. Fortunato, GT Technic, Sat Belt, Advanced Clutch, GK Tech. Been driving for like 9 years. He's already taken first at Lanier this year. Like, just absolutely watch out for Dustin. His ability to get angle out of that car while maintaining speed is incredible. He puts together some good content. Just and same thing, just like a super, super cool guy. A good guy to follow too. I'll get into it a little bit more, but like, I want you to follow all these guys, but definitely a good guy to make sure to keep an eye on. Okay, next up is Eric Medici. I'm going to find out. In a BRZ, number 177, Zaupa Racing, Mild to Wild, MTR Performance Parts, Cosmos Racing, ISC Suspension, Drift HQ. Second year out of Brazil. Looked like he had a bit of a rough year last year. I believe he's pretty highly regarded in Brazil as well. comes, well put together car and stuff like that. I think it seems to be that a lot of Brazilian drivers have a bit of a time, once they get into the US. I'm not taking anything away from them. I just think the style is very different. And we've seen that with Japanese drivers too. US drifting is just so different. And we see US drifters going to Japan and then struggling there. So it's not anything different. It's anytime you're moving to a different country with a different style, different judging, different everything, time zone switching, food, all those things play a big part in it. But hopefully Eric can get it all together, because watching some of his drift footage from back in Brazil, just dude can shred, absolutely can shred, and I think it's just a matter of time here. Speaking of someone who can shred, this is by no means a rookie. I don't mean that in a bad way, but Farouk Kugwai. Sorry, bud. Coming back in S14, we've seen him in a couple of different vehicles now. Looks like Enos and Pedal Commander getting behind him, which is cool. Was up in Pro. Happy to see him back. I think it's been a couple years since he stepped away from Pro. Big family guy, doing a lot of stuff. Over at Sonoma, he was on Hyperdrive. Really chill guy that really likes to support the industry. Good driver. Interested to see what happens here, like seeing him come down into Pro Spec. And I really shouldn't even say come down to, because I don't think it's anything all that different. Obviously, there's less experienced guys in it, but I think the driving is just top quality as well. I don't ever want to talk down to the Pro Spec guys, because what they're doing, there's no way in hell I could do. And I think for a lot of us listening, we all know that it'd be super difficult for us to compete in that as well. And I know there's a bunch of people man, I could do it. I could get my license and stuff. But yeah, I'm very interested to see what happens here with Farouk, because of his background, because of his knowledge and his ability, and how that relates, taking a couple years off and then coming down into Pro Spec. So keep an eye out. Definitely a guy I'm going to be watching for and seeing what's going on. Another OG, Jeff Donati, Drift Indy Link ECU powered E46, sponsored by Tuner Tools, should say Brian. Drift Indy, Link, Chase Bays, BC, Koenig, Vibrant, Phoenix, NOS, Manly, Ignite. Holy, great program put together. Saw some videos of him testing in that BMW. Looks really good. Jeff is definitely a guy to keep an eye on. He's got the experience. He is a guy that at any point in time can put it on your door. And then when you get a guy in a new vehicle and hopefully they can work out all the bugs and stuff like that, makes a big difference. It provides a lot of confidence. As long as, when you have an older car that's beat up and making noise and stuff like that, you're always concerned about things breaking down. With a new car, you're going to run into bugs and stuff like that, but you're less likely to have things just randomly fail. So I think with that headspace and just knowing how hard Jeff can drive, it's a good pairing for sure. Okay, next driver, another rookie, out of Japan, Hiroya Minowa. Think I got that okay. Let me know. I think I got that okay. Comes from FD Japan, drives a Corolla over there. Came in, looks like 16th in 2021. Couldn't pull the 2022 stats. Got to get on that, guys. Got to update that. But always interested when we see Japanese drivers come over. We saw, with the Kazuya, kind of had some struggles, but then found his own very quickly. But I believe with this driver, Minowa, just looking at what he's been able to do in Japan and how he drives and in the car that he's in, not being anything that's, I guess, standard. The fact that he could perform at that level in a non-standard vehicle at his age, curious what the program looks like coming over. I'm wondering if anybody is mentoring him or helping out with his program, but very, very interested to see how this goes. And I think there's a couple tracks here that are going to play well to that. St. Louis in particular that I think could play into his hands pretty well. Are you an FD fan who attends live events? Well, right now, for the podcast listeners only, we're offering $5 off each ticket purchased on Formula Drift website by using FD Podcast when you check out. That is FD Podcast. I don't know if you need a capital, the FD, but try it either way. So head over to formuladrift.com, pick up the tickets, then enter code FD Podcast, get $5 off all 8 events this year. So 20 a season. Head over. If you're going, save $5. Might as well. Next up, oh man, Can I skip? I'm just kidding. I'm not going to skip him. Hooman Rahimi. I'm just kidding. I've known Hooman for a long time, so I feel like I can joke around a little bit. The I'm Only Hooman 370Z. Every time I hear that, I think of that song, I'm Only Human. Anyways, Harbor Freight. The fact that he got Harbor Freight as a sponsor is one of like the greatest sponsorship moves I've seen in drifting. Love it. Love what he's doing with it. Great ambassador for the brand. It fits so perfectly. On with Koenig wheels, EBC brakes, Fortunato, AZ Regs, IP. Like, dude's been around. One of the funniest guys on grid. One of the, like, if you want to watch something hilarious, go to his Instagram, watch his like Asking Nashvillians things. Great series. Yeah, he's just, if you have the time, go to his pits and just go shoot the shit. That's it. That's really where it should be left. I want to see Hooman move up to pro because I think his personality deserves that spotlight. He is a really good driver. He often takes himself out. And I think that's the biggest problem. He just does, like, just something weird will happen. I'm like, Hooman, what's going on? But he's so close to just getting that license. And I'd be curious, once again, maybe he gets that big Harbor Freight money and we see him up in pro. And then we get like a big Harbor Freight activation. Everyone can buy cheap tools. It'd be great. It'd be a great time. Next up, I believe second year, Jack Davis, E36, great driver, big duck club, great looking car. Once again, like that body kit. Holly, BC, Dushworks, Koenig, Rowe Engine Oil. It's one I'm not familiar with. Small team, small program. Dude's really stepped up his social media game recently too. Another cool guy to follow. Chatted with him a couple of times. I think I have one of his stickers, actually. Just a generally good guy. Young, enthusiastic, really wants to work towards this. You know, like a lot of these drivers just kind of needing that break. But yeah, I know last year wasn't like a perfect run for him, but it's an experience thing. And it's really tough to just come in and try and like be like, yeah, I'm going to dominate this. Like sometimes just, you know, getting a top 8 is all you need to make a season. And I really feel like Jack is a guy who, he can tandem really well. Lead runs are really good too. Just a headspace thing. And I think that's all he's missing at this point. Some more seat time, a little bit of headspace. Okay, next up, we do have a rookie in a Corvette. We've got Jaden Martorana. Martorana? I'm testing it out. Let me know, A or B. Empire Auto C6 Corvette. Cool seeing these vets coming down now into Pro Spec. So Empire Auto, FDF Race Shop, VP Fuel, Cali's Link, Fuel Labs, Advanced Sim Racing, ACT, Redline, GeForce, OMP. Good program. Canadian driver, 14 years old. Came out of DMCC. If you don't know, go check out DMCC because this kid qualified first there. Like, go, if you don't know what DMCC is, go look it up because they produce some incredible drivers. Quebec drifting is no joke. I know I've talked about it before. And this kid's got his social media game down. Like 10,000 followers already on TikTok. Great looking videos. Good personality. Very excited to meet him in person. Yeah, this is, I'm pinning this as a rising star. I think this year will be, as much as DMCC is really, really good, once you get into Pro Spec, it is a jump. And I'm curious how he's going to handle that. But at his age, I think we saw with like a Brandon Sorensen and Amanda Sorensen, young drivers adapt a lot faster. And that is what I'm thinking is going to happen here with Jaden. So very excited to see what he can do. Next up, I love this dude's name. Another rookie, Justin Chestnut. I don't know why. I just like the name. You got an awesome name. After Hours Autosports. Did I type that in wrong? Does that say E82? That doesn't make sense. Holly, Big Duck Club, Kenzai, Wisefab, Field, Renegade, NOS. We're seeing a lot of NOS coming in, a lot of nitrous coming into Pro Spec. That gets me excited. Yeah, worked with Josh Love, so that's great. Looks like back in 2016. He was a crew chief there. Livery looks incredible on the S chassis. Would like to see that jump on the Pro Spec car, though. Just saying, cool livery. Go take a look at it. But yeah, Mr. Chestnut got the experience, got the time, got hopefully the livery. Yeah, just curious, very curious. We see guys work on programs like that. That's a lot of knowledge that they can pick up and apply to their program. and it makes it a little bit quicker. When you know how FD runs, when you know what the weekend's like, those little things, if you're looking to get into FD, if you're looking to like legitimately drive, or maybe you just got into Pro Spec, or you got your license midway through the year, make sure to go and like really live FD, crew on a team, volunteer at the track, something. Because understanding how everything works is such a huge benefit to you. And somebody who's worked with Josh Love, who's been a crew chief there, really knows that. So cool to see that go around. I did see Josh up in Long Beach, so maybe he's working that program now. I don't know. Hoping to see him around because we had a good chat. Next up, I feel like I say like watch out for drivers all the time, but this is a guy that I've actually been talking about for a couple of years now. That's Casey Cole. So Casey, M-Spec Performance, S14.9. Obviously, we talked about him with the Stuckey episode. Guy definitely deserves his own episode because his knowledge in FD is incredible. His build knowledge, very, very smart individual. You want to talk nerdy, get down and nerdy, that's it. So Koenig, Part Shop Max, ECU Master, Wine Country Motorsports, super curious there. Nitrous Express, Super Tech Valve Trains, Clutch Mat, like great thing. Cage Kits, Fuel Safe, like tons of stuff in there. Go check out all of his sponsors. Because if this guy's picking them, there's a good chance it's a really good company. So seeing what he's been able to do to help out with Stuckey, and then, now it's just his time. I very much want to see Stuckey and Casey go into battle in pro. I think it could happen next year, and I really think Casey is going to be one of our top 5. Next up, OG in the sport, also a great person to kind of just chat with. Kelsey Rawlings. Had a couple rough years with some weird stuff, power steering stuff, really dedicated to that Ford engine. I don't want to spoil anything, but her and I had a good chat at Grid Life down in South Carolina. Cool things going on with that program. Another just incredible ambassador for all the brands. Just how she's been able to curate her feed to have like personal posts and driving posts and sponsor posts, and it works really well. I know she messed up her leg. I think it was like an ankle or knee. I can't quite remember. So hopefully that is pretty much, fixed up now. She's good to go. But yeah, OG, like really OG. Been around since the Pro Spec days. Just do. I'm excited to see between like her and Amanda and potentially another driver we'll talk to you about right at the very end, just being the first female driver in pro. That's a battle that I'm very excited to see. And I think all 3 of the female drivers that are in Pro Spec this year have the ability to win it. And the third one we haven't even talked about yet. So yeah, if power steering is fixed, she gets her head in the game, Kelsey has every ability to take this home. Okay, next up, Greek driver, which means the pronunciation is going to be fun. Okay. Margaritis Katsendis? Tried. The Greek Doctor. Love that. BMW E46, sponsored by NRG, ESSA Autosports. Cool to see that. Street Fighter LA, Clutch Masters, Drive Shaft Pro, Renewable Lubricants, Redline Performance, Fresh Upgrade, and Brainstorm. Don't know what that is. Dude crushed it at Hot Pit. Watch some of those videos. Yeah, like he's gonna shake some stuff up. Also, really excited for his Radbulance, basically an ambulance tow vehicle. Cool YouTube videos. Go check those out for sure. Want to see more of them because it looks like he's got some cool builds on the go. So I'm just going to call you the Greek Doctor to make it easier. But yeah, for any of these drivers listening, please come to me. Tell me the pronunciation of your name. I did try to look through like social stuff to see if I could like hear somebody say it. But I am very much want to be corrected and pronounce it correctly. Okay, next up, Matthew Bystrack. So Gas Factory S13, JS alternator, big logo on there too, full throttle wrap, stage wheels. Do like what Stage is putting out recently. Function Motorsports, Bangers Racing Engines. Never heard of them. Doing some digging though. Feel, Clio tuned. Came in 18th last year. Not a ton on his bio. Good looking reels though, which is always awesome to see. Yeah, they're simple, but they work. Like you can tell it's working. You can check his feed, you can watch the increase in views. So Matt looks like he's got media game, relatively on point. Cool guy to follow, some good cuts, some good edits. Yeah, I admittedly don't know a ton. So probably go and bug him while I'm in Atlanta and kind of get up to date. I want to be as up to date on all these guys as I possibly can. Maybe the end of the season too, we'll do we'll try and get like every driver on for like 5 minutes or something. I don't know. Give me some ideas. Leave me some comments. Let me know what you want to see. Another driver that's been around a couple of years now, Nate Chen, NCR Toyota 86, sponsored by Holly Performance, Buddy Club, Mega Life Battery, Fuel Lab, AEM Intakes, Kelford Camshaft, Stage Wheels, Fortunato, and IMB Partners. Third year in with Jerry Yang Racing, which is good. Spotter for Kazuya. So just doing all the right stuff. Looked like he did some media stuff back in 2010, which is cool. Works as an investor. Just interesting when I can find that info, like putting that in there, as long as it's publicly available. I'm not like digging at, I could go into LinkedIn and start pulling this stuff. Yeah, Nate, I think Nate's got a lot of really good raw talent that looks like it just needs a little bit of honing. But working with a Jerry Yang, for sure that's going to help. And then working with Kazuya as well, having him, just being able to communicate with him regularly, potentially having him giving you notes and things like that. Like, it's not going to be long. It's not going to be long before Nate is a licensed driver. Haven't had a lot of conversations with him. Would like to. So this is my invitation, Nate. If you see me, tap me on the shoulder, bring me to the pits, walk me around the car. Love to chat a bit more. Next up, Richard Advani, 2023 HP Chasers Drifting Vet. So yeah, I believe I saw him testing at New Jersey last year a little bit. Not entirely sure. So YSAP, fuel suspension, Heritage wheels, great looking wheels on that. Status, Apex, real worth networking, cool sponsors in there. Works as a real estate investor as well. And he's only been drifting since 2020, which if you watch his driving, like being able to qualify for everything last year, it's a big accomplishment in a very short period of time. So says to me that car is really well set up, and that's a driver who's just adapting quickly and learning very quickly. To only be a couple years in and be that good that quickly, man, that just tells me a couple years down the line, like this, he could be a serious threat for absolutely anybody. Talking about serious threats, though, Rudy Hansen, Track Tires Supercharged Nissan 240 SX S13, sponsor Track Tires ACT anti-gravity batteries and 6 Below graphics. Sick livery, been in the game for a bit. First at Hot Pit last year. So like, dude can shred. I think last year was a bit of a struggle. I want to say like 23rd or something. Kind of lower in there, but Rudy's been around. Great guy, big smile all the times. Just a good guy to chat with. I think it's potentially just a seat time thing, just getting in some more seat time. It gets tough. Like when you get family stuff going on, definitely gets tough. But Rudy's been around for a bit, has everything in his program to be able to do this. Coming in at first at Hot Pit, that alone should tell you like what he's able to do. And I just want to see, what else can come out of Rudy. Next up is Rye O'Connor of the Ignited Soul Apparel 350Z. Man, that sounded way too much like Jared. Sponsor Ignited Soul, agentzuri.com. I'll have to do some digging there. Fuel Lab, Elevated Concepts, Renewable Lubricants. Seeing Renewable coming in a few different spots. Whipple Supercharger, Wagner Automotive, Kenzai Wheels, Fuel Injector Clinic, SFG Reps, and ACT Clutch. Sonoma Drifter for a while now. Both parents are drivers. Dude rocks some CrossFit, could probably bench press me. Super fit guy, obviously, rocking some CrossFit stuff. Yeah, seeing, being involved in motorsports with both parents in there, that same thing. That's a guy who's got his program together, a guy that can really do a lot. Same thing. I haven't chatted with him a lot. I really want to spend a bunch of time this next weekend chatting with as many Pro Spec guys as I can. So maybe that's my goal, is to talk to all of them for at least 5 minutes by the end of it. But yeah, couple good signs of like driving growth coming out of Rye. So I think that's all it is. A lot of these drivers, it's just one event to catch it and go. And I mean, we saw that with so many drivers over the years, especially when you've only got four rounds. Next up, can we call him a rookie? Because technically he did compete at the Invitational, but Sam Magmami, 412 Motorsports, BMW E82, sponsored by 412 Motorsports. Obviously, looked like he struggled a little bit at the Invitational. That is a really tough track to get your feet under. Clearly a BMW lover. Looks like he's got a ton of fan base back home. Big family support as well. His feed is just like full of BMW stuff. So yeah, I would not take how things went in Long Beach as any indication of how he can actually drive, because same thing, if you go through his socials, the dude can shred, and he can shred in some obscure chassis. And yeah, just I think it's there. It sounds like, and from what I remember, it seemed like he was battling some mechanical stuff, but you know what? If you're in the area, why not shake it down there? So yeah, curious to see how Atlanta goes for him. Okay, next up is Sean Illingworth, another rookie. He's got the Sac City Auto 350Z. Great looking livery. Also, absolutely love the White Claw wrap nitrous tank in the back. Love it. Dude's been off-road racing since he was like 7. So yeah, sponsors are Sac City Audio, obviously, Mega Life Batteries, Wagner Performance, ISR, Crown Carbon Crafting, say that 10 times fast, Spectator Wraps, CM Industries, Ruckus Company, CBM, and Ray's Factory. Always sick to see some Rays on a drift car. Great looking car, great looking Z. Got a nice little following. His bios, he's done some like viral builds. Couldn't find those at first glance. Maybe I had to scroll a little bit deeper. Curious what they are. If you do know, let me know. But watching some videos, dude can party. Like, he looks like a party drifter. And that's not an insult by any means. That is somebody who likes to throw big smoke, big angle, and get people excited. Okay, next up, Trevor Root, another rookie. So many. Peak Performance Fab E36, going back to an old school chassis. So Big Duck Club, Sicky, Link, swivel mount, stage wheels, the pool guy. I don't know what that's about. Maybe, dude, in your pits, get a little cool down pool. Just an idea. Another guy, though, that started in 2020. So, yeah, but like watching some of these practice videos he's released and some of the like YouTube videos he's putting together, it's got part 1 of his Pro Spec build, dude. I want to see part 2. Like part 1, let's see part 2. But watching these practice videos, like, just go watch them. Go watch them. Come back. Tell me what you think. But watching some proximity to the wall in an E36 with the speed of a Pro Spec car, I think people forget about the E36. Everyone's like into these E92s, E82s, E46s. Like, E36 can still hold down. I'm just saying, don't forget about them. So yeah, good social media. Finish off those videos, buddy. Next up, Taylor Foley, another E36, another rookie. Team No Grip Life, like that. Golden Engine, Cosmos Racing, BC, FDF, A Foley, Turbo Mike Tuning, Sunoco. Cool to see that. Midnight Customs. He's got a paint shop on here too. Moto Death Paint Shop, which hopefully that means it's a painted car. So Pro-Am since 2017. But dude's got 2nd and 3rd at the Gambler. That same thing. I'm trying to like bring this around. Like, a lot of times we don't know who these guys are. Local guys are going to know. Guys who really follow Pro-Am stuff are really going to know. But for me, somebody who really follows pro like to like an obsessive level, and I'm trying to do the same thing with Pro Spec, it's cool to see this and see how that relates up, because the Gambler is no joke. If you got 2nd and 3rd at the Gambler, that shows consistency, and that is what we need to see in Pro Spec. So Tyler Foley, just bring it down. Like, let's see it. I want to see what you can do. Next up, Zach Farrar, Wild Willies, and Shinoku Factory 83 S13.4. I love all these decimal places afterwards. Sponsor Shinoku Factory 83, Unknown Tattoo. I don't know if it's legal or sanitary to be doing tattoos trackside, but maybe that's what we're doing. Cool to see a tattoo shop in there. Wisefab, OMP, Cosmos, Endurance Coatings, KA Racing, J2, ALM, Type S Auto, Trackside, GT. Like, dude's got a good program together. Epic beard. Second year in Pro Spec, 20th last year, so a little bit, little tough there. Big old hater pipes coming out, though. Love me some hater pipes coming off of 2J. Curious, though, same thing. Do you gotta what do we do with the beard in the car? Like, is that a fire hazard? What do we do? Zach, I am going to come find you. You seem like a guy that I could find easily. Okay, last up, and we're making good time too. I think we're going to do this in under an hour, which is great. I wish I had more info to go more in depth, but I also wanted to make this just a nice bite-sized piece. So you didn't feel like you're really weighed down by it. So next up, Zendara Kennedy, and I don't want to say I'm like saving the best for last, but this to me is the most interesting one. So car is a Z-Drives 240SX, sponsored by Kenzai Wheels, G-Force Transmission, Holly Performance, Field Suspension, FDF Race Shop, and Radium Engineering. Great companies there. So what is interesting about this is she is a professional stunt woman, stunt driver as well, but like does both stuff. There's videos of her catching herself on fire. It's crazy. But she has over 110 credits on IMDb. That right there says to me that is somebody who can deal with a car. Now, I'm not saying that like you have to be a stunt driver to be a good drifter, but what I am saying is that by being a stunt driver, your drifting is going to come along. And it looks like she's done some instruction as well on top of that to like develop her craft. Signed with Nonstop Tuning, which is a great sign. 800 horsepower, 2J, boss kit on it, so it's going to look nuts. But yeah, also fellow Canadian. So like, I mean, obviously I'm biased. I'm sorry. But that all aside, I am really interested to see what happens here. Very, very interested. Yeah, go check out the driving credits too, because they're like no joke. And I guarantee you've watched a movie with her in it. And I think her bio even says that. So yeah, that's where I'm going to leave off on the drivers. So here's what I wanted to leave at the end. If you've made it this far, you obviously have some interest in Pro Spec. And what I would like you to do is to go back through, maybe just scrub through the episode. Let's have some fun with it. Scrub through the episode, and wherever you stop, whatever driver I'm talking about, I want you to make sure you follow them. But I don't mean just follow them on social media. I want you to cheer for them. I want you to comment about them in the live feed. I want you to comment on their posts. And I want that driver to be your driver for the season. Good, bad, or otherwise. I want you to be supportive of that driver. So I've left all of the drivers' Instagram, at least, in the notes. If you have the time, if you're not doing anything, instead of just doom scrolling or you're taking a bathroom break, go through and follow all of them. Let's get a little bit of love, follow all of them. Maybe you say, hey, Jacob sent me as a quick little shout out or tag me in it. Mine is at JAKO13. If you'd like to add that in there so I can see it. And I'm very curious how this little social experiment will go. Because all these drivers deserve a lot more than what most of them have. Some of these guys have great followings, but they always deserve more. There's a lot of guys on this list, guys and girls. There's a lot of people on this list that have followings that definitely could use the help. And all of these drivers need this support, and every follower counts. And it helps with social media, helps with the algorithm, helps with sponsors. So yeah, if you're watching this on YouTube right now, scroll back through, stop on a driver, whatever driver you land on, leave a comment with who it is, make sure to give them a follow, and actually follow them. Cheer them on, be excited, get autographs, buy their merch, whatever it is. Become a super fan of that one driver. If you could do it for all the drivers, that'd be greatly appreciated. But I think if we start with one, that would be even better. So that is my one ask of you, is to do that thing. Yeah, so if you're listening to this is coming out right. I mean, I think there's a practice tonight for Atlanta. If you are in Atlanta, come find me. I will have the hat on. For everybody who played Where's Jacob on the live stream, thank you. That was amazing and hilarious. I'm gonna try and get some more of these. I am looking to source a lot of them. The company who originally developed them is still not answering my emails. So if you have a way of finding one of these hats offshore where I could buy a bulk bunch of them, potentially get them embroidered with the logo for the Outerzone, that'd be cool. But yeah, let me know. It'd be cool to have a bunch of these hats walking around. I think it'd be funny, especially if you're playing some Where's Jacob at home, because it's going to be way more difficult. Like the hardest Where's Waldo is when they're all wearing those stripes. So how much funnier would it be if there's all these super bright teal beanies, toques, walking around the pits and you have to figure out which one's actually me. But yeah, thank you again, everyone, for the support. I can't say enough about how great it's been and the feedback and the tips and the tricks from everybody, from people at FD staff have been incredibly welcoming to everybody listening at home or on the road or wherever you are. It's been super cool. And I'm incredibly honored to do this. Love the feedback. If you guys have ideas for episodes, if you want to see something a little bit different that's not just an interview, actually the episode coming up next week, which I recorded before this one. Sorry for, breaking that. But it's awesome. And I asked some really fun questions. I won't tell you who it is. But it's probably one of my favorites. Probably my favorite. I got the most fun. Yeah. Anyways, I'm just rambling now, but thank you again, guys, for all the support. If you see me, please come up, say hi, ask me questions. I will take the time. Unless you see me you know what? My hat is off. That is an indication that I am busy. If the hat is on, it means I am ready for conversation. So if you see me with the hat on, come say hi, ask me some questions. Somebody actually asked me for an autograph, and I believe it was Nick Cage's A Banana on a mouse pad that I autographed as my first autograph, which I think is probably the best thing in the world to autograph for your first thing. So shouts out to that guy. I don't know why you'd want my autograph. I still think that's weird. I'm still working through this. But if you do, I will do it. But yeah, thank you guys. I really appreciate it. I know there's some super fans that listen all the way through. If you are a super fan, somebody who listens to the rambling at the end of these episodes, drop a comment. Let me know. I don't know, use like hashtag SF or, that could be San Francisco. I don't know. Just do something. Let me know you're there. And yeah, that's it for me. Thank you again. Share part of this episode that you like. Let me know. Just let's get the conversation going. Always like it. So thank you again, guys, for watching and or listening. We'll see you next week.